Hey guys, Cassie Deputy at Deputy Tribe. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what we do through the summer to kind of lighten up our school time, but still get involved in education and character building and that kind of stuff. So one of the things we do is we join the Lamplighter Summer Reading Challenge. If you're unfamiliar with this, I will put it in the link below. But Lamplighter Publishing is really cool. We've been reading their books for what, 4 or 5 years now? I did a review on one of their books in the past. If you look at the shelf up here, these are all Lamplighter books. And so the Summer Reading Challenge, you basically read their books. They give you a list of projects that you can accomplish, and you rack up points for credit to their audiobooks on their store, and other cool prizes that you can win from them. But I wanted to share with you some of the books that I've read already this summer. So the first one is John Plowman's Talk, which is actually by Spurgeon, which is one of my favorite people to read. I have a Spurgeon Bible and I read his commentary quite a bit. I have his morning and evening devotional. So I read this book, and this is just a lot of kind of little thoughts by him about lazy people, about, gossiping, hard work, hope, just lots of little, each chapter kind of has a little title and a little illustration and just kind of random babblings by him. So it was really good. I bend down the pages and underline stuff because that's just how I read a book. So I read that book. I read Pillar of Fire, which was really good. It was a different perspective of the story of Moses and the Exodus in Egypt. So that was a really good book. This one has a comprehension quiz that you can take to earn more points. And then the one that I'm almost finished with is this Chateau by the Lake by my favorite author, Amy Lefebvre, I think is how you say it. I've read probably 4 or 5 of her books, which I really enjoy. And then my next one is actually a Lamplighter new release. I don't think it's here yet, but one of my friends is buying it for me for my birthday. So how the Lamplighter Challenge works is then you fill out your point sheet, and you can read the books and you get a point per page, or you can do activities and you get more points. And then at the end of it, you basically send it in and you win your prizes. So there's a grand prize where you're competing from other people in your kind of genre. You can pick where's the information sheet? You can pick between these tracks here. So we have the young elementary, the ones who are illiterate, so you can read to your kids. Lamplighter books, the ones that can read, a junior high, a high school, and an adult track. And all this information I'll include in the links below. Why is she screaming?
I don't know.
So Alicia wants to share her favorite book that she's read so far. So Alicia, go ahead.
So this is Pepper.
Haven, please go see why Willow's screaming.
And so far, this is my favorite book because I have a very bad temper. And this book, the consequences of it's about this girl, and so she has a younger sister named Betty who loves to be nice to other people and loves to do things for other people. But she's not very good at learning or things like school-wise, but Helen is. So she thinks that she's better than her sister, but she's really mean and outside of church. She's really mean to other people, to her sister, to her mom. And so one day they met a little girl on the street who lost her way, and Betty took her home, but Helen didn't want to because she was a cripple and the girl was a cripple and very poor. And Helen thought it would not look good for her to walk home with a cripple. So her sister was very nice to the girl and invited her to come to Sunday school. And Helen's friends laughed at Helen because they thought that they made fun of her and the girl. But no one was ever mean to the girl because of Betty. Because Betty was always with her and wouldn't let anybody be mean to her. But one day Helen met her in the street and pushed the girl down, and she hit her head, and she was dying.
Dang.
Yeah. And Helen felt very guilty, but she didn't tell anybody until one day her grandfather figured it out, and he told her to come to his house, and he told her a story of herself and her sister. And Helen apologized to God and to the girl and her parents, and the girl ended up dying, but
No.
went to heaven because Betty told her about Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
So what'd you learn? Number one thing you've learned from it?
That we need to control our temper because it can lead us to do things that we will in the end regret.
Yes, this is true. I got a crabby baby screaming over there. All right, let's see what Havy's doing. Poppins, what are you working on?
I'm building a model.
Turn around and tell us, please.
I'm building a model of Hedge of Thorns, my favorite part.
Where's Hedge of Thorns book? Let me see it.
Right here.
So this is the book Haven just finished. Can you give us a real brief what this book was about?
It's about this boy named John.
John.
John Carroll. And he has a little sister who he loves a lot. And then one day they were walking to school, and then John finally notices that how much he wants to know what's on the other side of a hedge that's protecting them from getting onto the other side. So then one day he cuts a hole through the hedge. He cuts a hole through the hedge, and
Evelyn.
it's big enough for his sister to fit through. So then he starts pushing her through, and then she cuts her face open, and there's thorns stuck in her face. So then he brings her home. Yeah, and then
So what? Can you bring her into her room for a minute, please? Okay. Hey guys, Cassie Deputy with Deputy Tribe. Today I just wanted to share with you one of the things that we do during the summer as part of our home educating thing. One of our goals is to build up our children's character, to give them a love for learning and a love for reading, and then feed them materials that really build their character and not just, garbage books and stuff. So one of the things we do is we join the Lamplighter Summer Reading Challenge every year. If you're unfamiliar with this, can you go play with her so she's not by herself until I'm done with this, please? Thank you. I will include the links below if you are unfamiliar with Lamplighter, but basically they are a publishing ministry in New York, and they take old books that are filled with biblical concepts and morals and character and stuff, and they reprint them. So you can see this whole shelf is full of Lamplighters, and then I actually have in my cart about $200 more worth of books that I want to get so that we can have new reading material for this summer's challenge. Now this did start May 17th, so we're about a month into it, but it ends in August, so you still have a couple months if you want to join and read. So I just wanted to give you an idea. I am also participating in this challenge. All of your kids can. They can join different tracks here. So they can join the pre-elementary track, which are kids that can't read, ones that are literate and learning how to read, a junior high, a high school, and an adult track. And you win prizes, you win points. Basically, you fill out your, can I see your sheet, Leash? Let me just fold down your private information. So you mark which track you're on. So they're in the junior high track, and then here you kind of keep track of your points. You can read the book and you get a point per page, and then there's a list of projects you can do that correspond with the book that you can get more points, like take the comprehension quiz, build a model, do a craft, read a book to your sibling, listen to the corresponding audiobook, bake something for a grandparent, set up a family night where you read books. There's lots of different things that you can do to earn points. But it really gets the kids excited about reading these. And these were all written typically in the 18 and 1900s. So they have a little bit tougher language. There are some books that are better for younger kids, some that are better for older kids. They're definitely not like, I've read some books that were, I want to say unabridged, but I don't know what the right term is. These were definitely a little bit edited so they read smooth, if that makes sense. I've gone to like a half-price bookstore and gotten old books before. I think I got one by C.S. Lewis that was similar to Pilgrim's Progress. I forget what it was called. But it's Pilgrim's Regress, and it was like a allegorical type book. And you could tell it was unadulterated in any way, if that's, I can't even say that word right. And it was a little bit tough to follow and understand. So these aren't like that. These read very smooth, so they're very enjoyable. So these are the 3 that I've read so far this summer since May. This one is called John Plowman's Talk, and it's just some thoughts by Charles Spurgeon, whom I love to read. I have his Bible, I read his commentary and his devotional. But basically it's just a couple like small chapters with different themes like laziness, church participation, hope, marriage, debt, gossiping, all sorts of different topics, and it's kind of just him babbling about his thoughts on each topic. So I, of course, cornered down ones that stuck out to me and underlined things because that's what I like to do. I also read Pillar of Fire, which was kind of a different perspective on the Moses story, using a lot of it was very dense in history and culture of what Egyptian culture was like at that time and what the slaves would have actually endured. Very eye-opening. It quotes a lot of scripture. It was a really, really, really good book. It's actually written in letter form, so you're reading corresponding letters between Moses and his mom and then a couple other characters in the story. So it was really good. And now I am almost done with The Chateau by the Lake, which is by my favorite author, Amy Lefebvre, I think is how you say it. I have probably a little under 100 pages left. I think even less than that, probably like 50 pages left. This is really good. I've read like 5 or 6 of her books and I really like them. And then I have a few more lined up to read next because I am enjoying my summer reading. So I'm going to pop over to a couple of my kids and they can share with you briefly kind of what they've been reading, their favorite books so far. All right, this is Alicia and this is her favorite book. So why don't you give us a real brief overview of what this book's about.
So there's about 2 sisters. Helen is the older one and Betty is the younger one. And Helen is very, proud. She pretends to be good, but really she's not. And Betty is the complete opposite. She's good, but she's not good at learning like her sister is, or good at school, or acting like she knows everything, but she's very kind and very good-hearted. So one day the 2 girls met a crippled girl in the street, and Betty wanted to help her find her way home. But Helen did not want to because it would make her look bad to be walking home with a poor crippled girl. So Betty walked her home and talked to her about Sunday school and invited her to come, and she said she would come pick her up. She was very nice to her family. She brought them everything that they needed. The girl's dad was very sick and couldn't work, so Betty brought them food and curtains and clothing and toys. And Helen did not like this little crippled girl. So one day she found her in the street and pushed her down, and the girl hit her head. And she was dying, and so nobody knew that Helen pushed her down until her grandfather her grandfather figured it out and told her a story of herself and her sister and how she pushed her down. And Helen went to go see the girl, and she repented to the girl, to God, and to the girl's parents. The girl did end up dying, but she went to heaven when she died because Betty told her about God, and her dad and her sisters were saved. I think her mom was too.
Wow. Makes me want to cry. That's your favorite book.
It's my favorite book so far, yes.
How many books have you read so far?
So far I have read 3 books since I figured out that it already started,
Yeah, we started
a week ago.
Yeah, we started pretty late.
And have done a couple of the activities.
Why don't you go get the books so you can show us all the books you've read so far? Just go grab them. All right, and Haven, what are you doing over here?
I'm building a model for...
Turn around so we can hear you.
I'm building a model for Hedge of Thorns.
Show us Hedge of Thorns. All right, why don't you tell us a brief overview of what this book was about?
Do we have to? Okay, so it's about this boy and...
We can't hear you. You gotta face
It's about this boy named John Carroll. He's, I don't know.
I got a crabby baby in the background. Ignore that.
So he has this little sister named Belle, whatever. So then one day when they were walking to school, he starts thinking about what's behind this hedge what's beyond the hedge that's standing in like part of the walkway. So then one day he cuts a hole and then puts his sister in there, and then he pulls her out because she's screaming, and then he sees that her face was all cut open and there were thorns in there. So then he brings her home, and then the next day his dad brings him to the hedge, and then he puts him on his shoulders and then tells him what he sees. And then John says that he sees a dark chasm with no bottom. So if he would have pushed her any farther, then she would have fallen.
Yeah.
And died.
So what'd you learn from this book?
Don't let pride get in the way.
Oh, what'd you learn?
I don't know, really.
What does the hedge represent in your life?
My parents. They pretend God, and they're protecting me from things that are gonna make me get hurt or die.
Very good. That's exactly right. So now you're building a model of your favorite scene in the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Okay, Alicia, there's her book she's read so far. Haven, is that the only book you've read so far? Okay.
These are the 3 books that I've read: The Orphan Queen, The Silver Cup, and Helen's Temper.
Nice.
That I've read.
Nice. Here's Javi. What book are you reading, Javi?
I'm reading The Secret Bridge.
The Secret Bridge. Have you finished any books yet?
No.
This is your first one?
No, I'm reading this one and then Ishmael.
You're reading Ishmael at the same time?
Yeah.
That's not a very good idea. Where's Ishmael?
Over there.
Where?
Right next to my box.
Right next to your box. Okay, look at this book, Ishmael. You should pick one and read it.
But they're both super good.
They are both super good.
Do I have...
How far into Secret Bridge are you? Oh, you're a little halfway. You gonna finish that one today?
I'm gonna try to.
When you finish it, you can give me a 1-minute recap of what it's about.
Okay.
Which one are you liking more?
I think this one.
Yeah? They're both pretty good. And Ishmael has a sequel called Self-Raised. That's really good. I read those
It's the same.
over Christmas time, I think.
It's like the same.
It's a little bit less thick, but yeah, it's pretty good. Cool. Read away, girlfriend. So as you can see, Lamplighter Reading Challenge is pretty amazing. We do it every year, and once a year I try to do a big order of books. They do have some like damaged books that didn't print right, so you can get those kind of discounted, and that's typically what I do. We used to have the monthly, you can sign up for a monthly thing and you get one book every month. We used to do that. I'm hoping maybe we can re-up that. That would be nice. But otherwise I just do a big kind of purchase of a bunch of books every year so that we have new reading material every year. So there's also kids illustrated books. I can actually show you those really quick. Let me walk over here. You got pants on?
Yep.
Great. Let's see here. I'm gonna be careful because I got a potty training baby walking around. I don't know where she is. She's gone. Up here we keep some of the kids illustrated books. Let's see if I can find, here's a Lamplighter. Tales of the Kingdom. We have Three Weavers is a kid's book. The Trusty books are really great. Yeah, like I said, I'll include a link below so you can go check out their library. You can trust anything you get from there, really, which is hard to say nowadays. Even with Christian publishing companies, you can't trust everything that you get. I have read, I don't know, dozens of their books, and I can honestly say there isn't a single book I've read that I don't agree with the morals and the lessons that are being taught there. Their audiobooks are also phenomenal. We review quite a few audio dramas and audiobooks, and Lamplighter Theater is definitely one of our favorites. You can re-listen to the story 8,000 times and it's still just as good. Like, you cry. Very, very well produced. They have their own studio in their building out in New York. So yeah, so check all that information out. If you haven't signed up yet, sign up. And then dedicate a month or two to this summer reading challenge. It inspires your kids. It grows their reading comprehension levels, their vocabulary levels, their spelling levels. I'm always shocked when we get our kids tested every year, because in the state of Minnesota you have to. I am always shocked at their results for spelling and vocab and reading comprehension, because outside of just reading McGuffey readers, we don't really teach much of that stuff. We do some with Eclectic Foundations, which you can just Google them or whatever. But I'm always amazed at how advanced they are in their reading skills and knowledge. And I think it's because during the summer months, we really prioritize reading good books. You can also do your library summer reading challenge, and you can just use your Lamplighter books that you're reading as the hours or the points or the activities that you need to participate in that too. The only books we read from the library are ones that I have pre-read or that I approve of, because nowadays there is so much garbage in kids' books. You really cannot trust really anything. If you're a good parent, you won't just trust anything. So yeah, so that's all I got. I'll give you a quick overview of our library. I got books laying all over the place, so I'm sure we're gonna miss a few, but go ahead and check those links out below. Thanks for watching.